Yeah, it was all going to plan today. Forgot to record, forgot to turn everything off. So, welcome everybody. It's me, unfortunately, all on my own. Steve sent me a message this morning saying he was in the hospital, and that's I think is because I did actually send an application off to Elon Musk to see whether or not he could get a sort of chip transplant in his brain, and I think they finally agreed to it, and that's the reason why he's in the hospital. But there you go. But
Well,
so welcome everybody. Welcome everybody.
sending him all our best wishes and hope that everything is okay and everything.
I hope the chip works.
Yeah, he's part of the lizard people, so he'll be fine.
Part of the lizard people, yeah.
Yeah, that's why he was on the top of the list, I think, more than anything else. But there was
For the brain transplant. I'm sorry, the chip transplant.
For the chip, yeah, definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Right,
yeah.
right, okay.
But there's sort of an agenda today, because my apologies to everybody who normally watches either vaguely news or sermon from the German. It's a bit of a mishmash today because Uncle Stephen, before he had the chip implant, actually double booked the show today. So that's the reason why everybody's on, which is good, really, because I just wanted to start the show off with something which was pretty controversial, which rather upset me this morning. That's the Stop Oil protesters. They've actually been spraying.
Stonehenge. Yes.
No, something even more sacred than that.
Oh.
They were actually attacking planes at the airport where Taylor Swift's aeroplane arrived. Shocking, absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
That should really get people onto their side, shouldn't it? That'll help them win the argument.
Well, I mean, and of course, Stonehenge, it would seem.
No, they painted Taylor Swift's airplane orange, apparently. But more concerning is, how did a bunch of Just Stop Oil people just walk onto an airfield?
That's true.
I mean, surely there's supposed to be a bit more security than that at airports and airfields in the UK. I mean, really? Is it that easy?
Well,
try getting on a plane without a ticket, but they can walk onto the runway. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. And the other thing, going back to Stonehenge as well, there was an interview recently with an actor here in the UK that had been working with Christopher Walken, so the famous Hollywood actor, right? He was over here and he said, I'll show you around. What do you want to see? And his Christopher Walken's one request was, I'd like to see Stonehenge. So it's all right. So he set out for him. We took him down to Stonehenge, and he's showing him around Stonehenge, and there's a tour guide as well telling him about the stones. And Christopher Walken is like, can I touch it? And the tour guide is, no. And the other guy's like, do you know who that is? He's like, I don't care who it is. He's not touching the stones. So Christopher Walken is not allowed to touch the stones at Stonehenge, and these numpties have just gone up and spray painted the place yellow.
Well, he didn't have paint. Yeah. He didn't have paint. He should have brought paint.
Yeah. Well, evidently it was some sort of corn-based colouring or something, which could have been washed off. But the biggest concern this morning was all the lichen and all the moss that was on the outside. It's supposed to be quite unique to Stonehenge. And of course, tomorrow, depending on which day this Hollywood show goes out, is the summer solstice.
Yeah, the Druids.
When they let everybody in the circle anyway, right? Don't they open it up twice a year?
Yeah. The Druids will all be there. Yeah. But either that or they're frustrated, Dutch football fans, because they're all dressed in orange. But and of course,
Druids can
there's that thing going
hex on them.
But Euros are going on as well at the moment. But no, I mean, to be honest, they have been stepping up. I mean, there was an old couple, I think, was it in America? They were trying to break into the Constitution glass or something like that, and it's gone really, really bonkers. And at what point do you just go, no, this is not just protesting, this is actual destruction, damage to historical and property of significance, and it just needs to stop. I mean, quite aside from what you think of their politics and everything else, you just got to say, this is not the way to go about doing this.
Yeah. Well, they did it in a slightly different way in Holland, because they got onto the runway, but they all came on bikes, literally, and so the police had to chase them around and try and pull them off their bikes. You can find that. I'm not joking. You find only in Holland. Sorry, Roger, you were going to say something about.
No, I was just going to say. I mean, we actually touched on this a show or two ago about these Just Stop Oil people, and the crazy thing is, for me, I get it. I get they're worried about that, and the environment is an important issue. It is. Nobody's brain thinks that it's not, and everyone's trying to figure this out. But the point is, I'd like to know who that message is for, and how do they think that by doing that improves the chances that that message will be received favorably. You're trying to create or affect a change of opinion, or what are you trying to do? You're trying to change people's minds. You're trying to get them on board with your idea.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to know how they think that is going to make people more receptive to their message. If they could explain that to me, we might have something to talk about. But at the moment, it just seems to be alienating them, and if anything, making people less receptive. And it is an important message, but it's making people less and less and less receptive. And it's actually making the problem worse, I think. That's what I think.
Yeah. It's just, I think from their point of view, it's just like they want to find ways of creating disruption and basically getting people to talk about it. I mean, again, on the TV news this morning, that's all they were talking about. So in one, you could argue that, well, actually, it's quite effective. I think what was it, about 3-4 months ago, they climbed up to on top of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's house, his personal house. And they managed to find it. They managed to climb onto the roof and, hang banners off it and stuff like that.
That's right.
Big talking.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's fine.
There was no security. The Prime Minister's again is that whole thing is like, how are these Just Stop Oil amateur old fuddy-duddy protesters able to do which one the world's best terrorists aren't able to do? This is incredible.
Yeah. It is pretty remarkable. Yeah.
But the thing about it is that nobody. Okay, so it's all clickbait. They managed to get what they wanted, but it seemed to be that throwing paint over the Mona Lisa, or the constitutional thing in the US, everybody sort of said, yeah, okay. But when they threw all that paint and everything on the snooker table during the World Snooker competition, the world was too small. And now, of course, they really have even managed to get to the most, shall we say, dim-witted people politically by Stonehenge, because everybody thought, well, why are you doing it? What's the sense of that? I mean, they've been there for 5,000 years. The stones, what are they? What do they have anything to do with oil?
Yeah, and it's not exactly. I mean, if you've been, it's been a few years since I've been there, but it's not exactly a tourist trap. You know what I mean? They still are just stones in a field. It's not like
heretic.
Perhaps
there is a gift shop though.
Go ahead.
Because I've been there. There's a gift shop, so there's a little bit of a tourist. There's a gift shop.
That's the most important thing.
Publicity stunt by Stonehenge.
Yeah.
No, they had actually chocolates. They had Henry VIII chocolates that I bought, and each chocolate was a different wife.
Oh, nice. Nice. And that's linked directly to Stonehenge. Did I miss that?
Yeah, exactly.
So we jumped from Stonehenge to chocolate Henry VIII's wives. Obviously.
Yeah, but were they pre-beheaded, or were they?
No. They were, they were pre-beheaded. It would be cute if the head snapped off when you went to eat the chocolate bar, but no, not clever enough. UK missed opportunity.
That would be hilarious.
But I mean, really, I was thinking about this the other day. With these protests, I was trying to think, has it ever affected policy? Because they get people to talk about it and they get on the news, but at least in the U.S., and I'm not internationally schooled in this kind of thing, but it's never affected policy. The thing that affects policy is lobbyists and money. So if they really want to get something done, they would just go fundraise and throw, hire lobbyists and go throw money at the government, because this stuff people just either talk about or ignore, but it never actually affects any change that they want to see. Money talks. So I don't know.
But do they want change? Do you think they do want change? That's the question I have. What do they want? What do they actually want?
Why would you reach that conclusion then? Why would they want?
Why would I?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. That's an interesting statement, Roland.
But what do they want? You have to ask, what do they want? Because, as Vicky said, there hasn't been any policy changes. Nothing's changed. Not a single thing has changed. So what have they done except create publicity for Stonehenge, which I think maybe is the point.
Well,
maybe
going to Stonehenge That's for
Yeah,
sure.
go to Stonehenge. Woo, yeah.
Yeah,
It's quite-
yeah, or maybe now, of course, because
that's fine. Yeah, it's good.
maybe we know that this really is a secret plot. Then there's a conspiracy
Well, no.
theory here because we go from orange paint to Stonehenge to Henry VIII's chocolate wives. I mean, come on, guys.
No, I don't
I
think this has got anything to do with oil. It's nothing to do with oil.
All to do with chocolate then.
Chocolate. Protect the chocolate.
No, Vicky's point is spot on about the fact that there are other ways of going about these things and generally more effective ways, but they do require money. But on the other hand, if you're entering into airfields and Stonehenge and museums and art galleries, places like that, then you're also funded in some way. Somebody somewhere is funding that, you know. And you do, and like Roll says, it's like, well, what is the actual agenda? What are they actually trying to achieve here? And I guess, I mean, from their point of view, the people actually doing it are probably still saying that we're trying to raise awareness of what we're about. But you've got to look at the bigger picture and you go, well, what is it all in aid of? What's actually happening here? And then you get into the whole realm of, you know, I suppose kind of conspiracy, you know, behind, you know, who's lobbying who's paying for what agenda, who's trying to create what environment, who's trying to influence the narrative around these sort of things, you know. And ultimately, there's always somebody sitting at the end of it that's waiting to make a stockpile of money out of everything. And unfortunately, I think ultimately that's what it all boils down to. Somebody somewhere is don't know how, don't know when, don't know where, but it's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Or maybe it's Six Flags. Then maybe they don't want people to go down to Stonehenge. They want them all to go to their own theme park. So I think,
or see Taylor Swift. Don't piss the Swifties off. They'll come in there and they'll buy oil just to annoy you.
Yeah,
well, that wasn't a good move.
They're powerful.
No, yeah, I mean, we had that. Adam had problems with that when he said something about Taylor Swift. He suggested that she wasn't as good looking as people thought. He put that on X, and the whole world rolled over him. So,
oops.
These people created an earthquake in Scotland. I mean, you got to be careful of their supporters. You got to be careful of the Swifties.
Yeah,
very careful. Yeah.
But also the Swifties in South Africa or not?
Plenty.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's a global.
Definitely. I'm not one of them. She's okay. I don't mind her, but I look at music differently because I'm in the business. But she's fine. She's done well. She's all right. She's okay. Not bad.
Yeah.
Beatles status?
No comment.
Not really, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, but she hasn't quite said she's God yet, has she? Because I mean, you got to go.
Well, there's already a God. He's trying to get back into the White House. Remember, there's only one God.
Oh yeah, the orange God.
He's already orange.
Speaking of orange.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the conspiracy right there.
Oh, here we go. Let's connect it up.
Now I
Make Stonehenge great again. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, this is not just stop oil.
Solved it.
Cracked it. No,
it's a marketing campaign for Trump. This is what this actually.
Yeah, turning the whole world on.
Does he need one? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because you had the Euros. You saw the Orange Army. I mean, they were just ready to rock and roll. They were at the Euros. 70,000 of them on the street, all dressed in orange. And I was quite shocked that somebody came downstairs yesterday while I was watching TV, dressed as an orange lion. Evidently, that's something to do with supporting football teams here, it would seem. But there you go, another story. So the orange conspiracy.
Yeah, the jumpsuit orange. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Something's up.
Right. So orange is the new color then.
Orange is the new black.
Orange is the new black. I'll have to wrap my BMW orange now. That's why I do that.
Is your car black? Because mine's black too. I guess we're gonna have to paint them orange. There you go. All right. Done. No.
Maybe if you did, the foxes would stay away from it.
The triple black, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the irony of the BC BMW having just stop oil colors on it would be just terrifically funny, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder if you had that flag all over your car, painted on your car, with they disrupt a lot of people trying to get to work and hospitals and schools, and you had that paraphernalia on your car, what they would do with you. I'd be interested to see what happened. High five. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you recall, or if I just explain, I did cover a lot of the anti-ULEZ protests in London last year. Anti-ULEZ are ultra-low emissions
So it's your
in
fault
London.
then. So what you're trying to
No,
tell
well,
us.
the point was that we were kind of like the opposite of the Just Stop Oil. And then we were going into central London and we were having protests and people were like, oh, well, you're causing disruption. But the thing is, we never caused any disruption. We were actually very careful to only walk along Whitehall when it was actually the police allowed us to do that, and only be on the pavements and stuff like that. There was one time we were outside BBC Centre and there's a church just next to, this is the old BBC radio centre, and there's a church just next to it. And it was pissing down. It was just raining down the whole day, you know. And we were taking shelter. Basically, most of the protesters were taking shelter in the church, the pillar, the bit that comes over. And then somebody said there's a wedding coming through, so everybody moved away from it because they said, like, we don't want to disrupt anybody's wedding. And as the bride came along, everybody was like cheering and clapping and stuff like that. And I guess you could say that, well, that's the right and proper way of doing it. But did we stop ULEZ? No, we didn't. So in other words, it was a complete and utter failure. So, right. I mean, you could argue that, well, by causing these sort of disruption, this sort of headline grab, because we didn't even get coverage in the news, you know. So, yeah. I mean, you could say that these people, every time they do this, they do news and they do get talked about. So it's a terrible way of going about this, but maybe they've got the right idea. I mean, just putting devil's advocate stuff out there, you know.
Did the bride have a white dress on? Did the bride have a white dress on? Because you could have thrown orange paint. You could have thrown orange paint over her, and then.
Oh, you can't ruin a lady's wedding day. My God, David, you're insane.
Oh, is that even more? Is that even worse than Stonehenge or Taylor Swift's aeroplane? Oh,
yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Definitely, no question. Oh no.
Right.
Yeah. So Stonehenge has been 5,000 years. It will probably be there for another 5,000 years.
Yeah.
This sort of thing. It'll
one wedding day. One day.
Yeah.
One day.
Wedding day. Yeah. That's a.
Hopefully.
But yeah, would that get into the newspapers? Is that good clickbait? Do you think? Stop weddings now.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, I think it would.
Don't give them any ideas, David.
No. On that note, I'm interested to know that you should know they've never done that here. Not in this country, not on this continent, as far as I know. I'd love them to come here and give that a try.
Well, Roald, you make a very good point. They've never done it in the Middle East. I mean, I'd like to see them try.
Oh, yeah. That's where, I mean, oil, Middle East, right? Try that in Riyadh. Go. There you are.
No
That'd
way.
Be great. I'd pay money to see that. Off you go. Here we go. Riyadh. Love. There we go. No. Soft targets. Get yourself a real target.
Yeah, and they would see the wrath of the local police in an instant. You know,
you wouldn't even hear about it. That'd be gone.
Yeah, disappeared. Yeah.
How about Beijing? Try it in Beijing. Have they tried it in Beijing yet? I'd love to see it in Beijing. Oh, yeah. Or Manila. Yeah.
We never found out what happened to the guy in Beijing, did we? Where he was just stood in front of the tank with his shopping bag. Who's obviously, you know, but we never knew what happened to him.
You never will.
No.
You never will.
Must have been a Just Stop Oil protest.
No.
North Korea is flinging bags of poo at South Korea. So, you know, there's other ways you can go about it as well.
Yeah, well, they're upset because aliens keep sending them Bibles and you know, USB sticks
K-pop
with K-pop on it. I mean, if it was a balloon coming over here with K-pop, you know, I'd probably send a bag of poo back. But that's just me.
Wow.
Oh, that hurt.
Wow. That's rude, Dave.
Et tu, Brute?
Didn't North Korea create its own form of K-pop recently that was basically just political propaganda? Wasn't that? I think I saw something in the news about that.
I don't know. Little Kim has its own band of ladies that he has play for him every so often. Have you seen that? Yeah.
It's like something out of a Robert Palmer video, isn't it?
Right? Oh God, yes, Rod. That's perfect. It's exactly what it is.
Do as I say.
I got it.
Wow.
God.
I thought it was interesting. The news reports were that when Putin came, they were waving paper flowers, so they can't even grow flowers in North Korea. They have to have paper ones.
Flowers don't want to grow in North Korea.
And they have
Yes.
pictures of him on posters, on lampposts throughout the capital. Pictures of Putin everywhere. It was
Lovely.
kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah.
But hey,
He's
but there
kinda
were
creepy. I'm still not
no
convinced.
Just Stop Oil protesters.
No.
There you go.
They missed their opportunity.
No.
Yeah.
No, really, they should give
Cowards.
that a bash. Pyongyang, Moscow, go.
Mm,
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a global problem, right? Go,
right?
please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Orange.
And the other thing which I thought was rather strange is Putin. He was supposed to be going, I think, at the beginning of the year after he'd been to Beijing, but the Chinese have said, no, you're not going to Beijing and then going to North Korea. That's not good for us. That's not good promo.
Ah.
So he had to wait. He was told he had to wait a couple of months, and that's why he went now to see Missile Boy. And after he'd been there, he went to Vietnam because the Vietnamese were saying, all those bullets and ammunition that you were supposed to be supplying us with, where is it? And of course, Mr. Putin had to say, well,
He was
shut
supposed
it
to
off
come
somewhere.
here. He was supposed to come here,
Ah,
some summit, and then somebody pointed out that if he landed here, because South Africa is a signatory to the ICC, they would have to arrest him, and it would be hugely embarrassing. So it became a Zoom thing.
Wow.
Yeah. That was quite an interesting. It was a tense time here. People, what are we gonna do? Just stay at home. Yeah, that was interesting. That was.
There should
Oh,
button Zoom. There should be like a virtual arrest thing on Zoom or something like that you could do that. You can do everything else virtually. You might as well be able to do that as well.
yeah. I think he'd take that really seriously.
Yeah, he turned himself
Look,
in.
I've been arrested. Ooh, ICC. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. No. Okay.
A Zoom frame with a bunch of bars come up, and then
He's already in Twitter jail, or did they let him out of Twitter jail or X jail, whatever the hell it's called now?
Are we talking about Trump or Putin? Sorry.
yeah,
Does
what?
Putin have
So
Twitter?
what?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
this is my protest. Stop oil protest. I just put up now. I've turned everything orange, just for the
Oh,
hell
I
of
see
it.
what you did there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks. Hasn't changed anything though.
Oh,
There we go.
well, I'll try again now. Here we go. Has that changed anything?
Yeah, there's an orange grid on my screen.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't
We're
see
still
one.
putting petrol in our cars, so it's fine. Yeah.
We're doing my best.
Okay.
Here. Doing my best.
I feel
here.
very uncomfortable. I feel
Yeah.
very uncomfortable.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
what? Because you put an orange thing on his screen, Dave.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
He's
That-
uncomfortable.
Oh,
Stop
there we
making him
go.
uncomfortable.
Oh, he's uncomfortable.
Yes, that's what he said.
Oh, right. Well, we're back. Well, we're back to Star Trek instead, and behind.
Woohoo!
Oh,
That
it's the
makes
D
it-
team. Sorry.
Yeah, it is the D team today. Yeah.
The Dave team. Come on, keep up. Here we go.
Come on, come on. What's Arnie going to tell me to do? Come on. Did really
I was
well. by
going
the
to
way.
say, did you guys ever see a movie called, let me think of it, it's called Team America World Police. Did you ever see that? It's an animation thing from the
Oh
guys.
yeah, sure, yeah.
South
South Park. Yep.
Now, you remember the scene where they go and, I think Hans Blix goes and visits Kim Jong-il or Un, I can't remember who was in charge at the time. And it's the same thing. He says, I'm going to write you a letter. We wrote you a letter and you must do what we say. It's the same thing with putting a guy on Zoom arrest. He's just going to go, oh, that's
Or
going to
jumping
really
on.
change my life. So there we go.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's been silly
Same
since
scenario.
then.
Well,
Stop doing it.
it's a crazy world. Living in a world of virtual, and we're living in a world of AI where you can't believe anything that you see anymore. I mean, who's to know that they even did paint the Stonehenge stones orange? We've only seen news footage. Were you there? So we can't believe anything anymore. Who's to know that even Putin exists or Trump exists? And we're getting so close to some of the AI stuff that you're seeing now, the video and stuff. It's just extraordinary.
Well,
And really, like, what is believing, we need to come up with a new phrase now, because seeing is not believing anymore.
well, there was a suggestion that Putin has got a couple of doubles, and they were pointing out the size of the chin, and the face didn't match the chin or the throat. And I don't know if you ever saw that. They actually thought that perhaps there were a couple of obviously body doubles. A lot of these guys got body doubles. And when he gave that one speech, they said it looked like it had been manipulated, and it wasn't actually him. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, they could do it and we wouldn't know. So he seemed to have lost weight and then gained weight, then lost weight, and I'm not sure. Weird.
Yeah, there are a lot of body doubles for Winston Churchill. I mean, every baby I see these days looks like Winston Churchill. So,
David.
Just
I'm going to say,
yeah.
I was just saying that, you know, I mean, the Winston Churchill thing is interesting, but with Putin, when he first invaded Ukraine, you remember all the conferences he was sitting at the end of a very large table, and everybody else was at the other end of the table. So you could see that he was keeping his distance, being very careful, because we know like how poison works and what they can do and stuff like that. But recently you've seen him interacting with people, so it does, you know, you do start to think like, is that actually him who's standing that close and shaking hands?
Well, I read a press release from the Kremlin, and they said that after many sessions of table tennis, he was actually now the Kremlin champion, so he no longer had to sit at a large table, because that's what you didn't see. Of course, they were playing table tennis between them, and then
of course they were. Okay,
but I thought he was worried about getting COVID or something, but so whatever. It's an interesting premise.
For you, Dave.
What's that? The Life and Times of Winston Churchill. Yeah.
On the subject, carry on, please.
On the subject, I was just wondering how Brown Car Guy would. Let's say somebody came along now and filled your car up with orange paint. How would you feel about that? Because you got your sunroof open.
I would kill them.
Yes, I'm with him. Yes. It's very rude to do that.
Well, Vic says you're short. I rest my
Thank you.
I rest my case, Councillor.
Don't put a Stonehenge on him. Don't do that. I agree.
Full death.
I'll vote for you. There we go.
I would drag it out. Orange might be involved. There'd be plenty of red, and they would eventually meet mice. You know.
Okay, there's your answer, Dave.
Is this a religious relationship you have with your Beamer, or a sexual relationship, or something that makes you feel?
Why would you bring that up?
Single scratch on the car. I was just wiping the car, and I just saw a scratch on the back bonnet, and one time I saw a scratch on the front bonnet, and I know exactly what.
It's a scratch. It's a scratch.
I know exactly what happens. And people see the car in the car park. I lived in the car park all day. People see in the car in the car park, then they pose with the car, and then they sit on the car. And you just know that somebody sat on that bonnet and they've scratched it. You know, I don't mind people taking pictures of the car. I really don't. But if you're gonna sit on it, make sure you're not wearing jeans with studs in it or something like that. Things.
But what were you telling us? What were you telling us before we started the show today? You said something that foxes were having sex on your car.
I normally keep this under a very thick cover. I normally keep it under a very thick cover. And I looked, and last night I came back. I was very tired. I didn't. So I looked out the window this morning because I thought I'll come down and I'll try to do this podcast in the car. And I could literally, from my window, I could see all the paw marks over it. Now we have foxes here, and I do know that they like to sit on my car when the cover is on it. But apparently, even when the cover is not on it, they not only like to sit on it, but apparently they're doing the Macarena and the boogie woogie as well at the same time, because there were paw prints all over the thing. So literally, 10 minutes before we came on, I was just polishing and watching the car, because I was like, I'm not having that. And I was checking the wiper blades, because I was wondering, you know, because they were clearly trying to climb onto the windscreen. You could see their paw prints on the windscreen. You think, well, are the wiper blades damaged? It's just bonkers. And now, as soon as this is finished, I'm going to cover this back up again. But yeah, when you have a car like this, you do tend to get really precious about it. You do tend to get really careful.
Can I tell you, you're going to love this little story. My car is all black. It's all black. It's got black tinted windows. It looks like a federal law enforcement vehicle, which is exactly what I wanted. It's a big SUV. And I was parked outside a little cafe the other day. And no, you can't really see in the car. So I was just sitting on the phone, not really aware of people around the car. And the next thing I felt the car move, and somebody sat on they leaned back on the bonnet of my car. So of course, what did I do? Coffee everywhere, people running. But it was fun. It was worth it. I did have to do some compounding and get rid of some scratches, but it was totally worth it. And I can recommend that highly.
So that's just gangster then, isn't it? But is it the gas
Absolutely, no question.
It drinks a lot of, it takes a lot of petrol. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I'm
and
sorry,
I don't want to stop oil.
You get this now. I'm sorry. You know.
What do I get? Oh, there we go.
Orange.
Do you know what, Dave?
Do you feel protested now? Old.
My needle hasn't moved at all. In fact, I feel more compelled to rush out and just put more petrol in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Tank's not quite full. I think I need to fill it up. There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. What can I?
Stop that.
Oh, hang on. Listen, we go. Are you doing it again?
Oh, he's revving it up. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's popping. He's popping.
I'm sorry, mate. Sorry, you have to have some. You get some serious orange for that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
Orange.
Well, I can throw it from here. It's fantastic. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Well, let's hope it has the smell of petrol and not the smell of his dinner. That's all I can say.
No, don't be ugly.
Good old octane.
Rude.
High revs. That's what that is.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
octane. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Yes. Oh dear me.
It is a good question. It's like, even like not even my car, but like I just stopped. I think last year they spray painted I think it was the Ferrari showroom in central London. And as a car guy, even that upset me. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you? And also what really, really upset me, I think this was at the Frankfurt show, at the Frankfurt car show. And they actually glued themselves to Ferraris. And not just any Ferrari, but classic. I mean, literally.
Which one? Which Ferrari? Can you remember? Was it like a Modena of California?
I think it was a 308. And
no. That's.
And I'm like, those are. Oh my God! And like how people are about classic cars, original paint, proper paint, all that. You've just gone and glued yourself to that car. I mean, that's absolute desecration right there. It's unbelievable. It's indescribable.
Well, then what you do is you take them for a spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Round the track. Obviously, what's happened here is they really jealous. They're jealous. They obviously want to go for a ride, but they're too nervous about getting in the car. So what you need to do then is get behind the wheel and take them for a spin while they glue to the car.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, putting my car on
and video it, obviously.
Well, and just talking about older cars and classic cars. And I've always said this, and I still say this: the best car for the environment is actually an old car, because the longer the better it is in terms of the resources and everything that you've gone in. It's gone orange again. The resources and everything that's gone into that car. The longer you use it, the less harm you're actually doing it to the environment, and it's paying back its carbon debt. That's what it's doing. Every time you replace an old car with a new car, you've created a new amount of carbon debt. So actually, old cars are the best cars for the planet. I rest my case.
I'm writing this argument down. I like this argument. New cars. Got it. Okay. I like that.
I just wondered if one of these protesters, where they went to, obviously they had a management meeting before they went on this protest, and somebody said to them, if you want to be part of the Stop Oil protests, you have to get more skin in the game. And they actually took that literally then by gluing their hands to a Ferrari. So,
Oh, by the way, you'll love this. Also, this weekend, this is a true story.
The weekend's a true story.
Yes, it's all normally fake. I'm actually we're doing a live broadcast, a live radio show from a racetrack here with just Ferraris. It's a Ferrari track day from 9 in the morning. Screw you and your orange. 9 in the morning through to 4 in the afternoon. It's a whole day. It's fantastic. Families, kids, brilliant. I'm not promoting it. I'm just telling you that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be right next to the track, right next to the track, and then later, when I've done my show and we've done our thing, I'm going to be in a. I'm not going to be driving. I'm just going to be taken for a.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get.
Well, you are allowed to promote the radio show because it's we're somewhere else other than in South
I'm not
Africa.
promoting it. I'm just.
Oh, you're not.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Promote car guy. Promote brown car guy.
Brown
There you
car.
go. Well, you
Yeah.
should come. There you go. Saturday. Brilliant. There we go.
These cars, I mean, I do an event with Drivers Union, which is a supercar club here, and 3 times a year they do an event at Brands Hatch. And there's all these supercar owners bring their cars down there, and we have a small arena that we have, and they do figure of 8s there. And it's an opportunity for a lot of people to see supercars, which they've only seen in magazines and pictures and YouTube videos, but to see them for real, to hear them, to smell, to actually see them in action. And it brings so much joy. And you know, the reality is that when you see like there's a line of kids, and again, Just Stop Oil will hate this, but there's a line of kids just cheering, grinning, and you know, just enjoying seeing Lamborghinis and whatnot in action. It's just fantastic. And even with older cars, I mean, even something as simple as this E30, but just driving it around, and you end up in so many conversations with people like, oh, my uncle had one, my dad had one, or I used to own one, or I always had one. And you know, the other day, a bus driver, literally, I'm not even joking, he came around the corner. I was parked at a traffic light. He almost crashed into me because he slammed on his brakes. This is a bus. This is a double-decker bus. And then he opened his window. He goes, dude, I had one of those. That's awesome, you know. And you just think when you're doing that, I mean, you know, I'm blowing my own trumpet here, and maybe my ego is inflating, but you're almost doing a public service. You're almost like, you know, bringing joy to what is otherwise quite a dreary life, you know. And you just think, what's the harm? You know, why are you attacking people in supercars or classic cars or something that's unusual and cool when actually it's just a lot of fun, you know, and it just makes people smile. And we're not like using it as a commuter car. It's not like people use these cars all the time. The level of pollution and emissions from these vehicles is minuscule compared to what everything else is going on in terms of transport, freight transport, air transport, shipping. It's just on a different scale. So to attack people like us with these sort of cars is just absolutely ridiculous. It's gone orange. I'm ignoring the orange.
Well,
Dave's judge and jury today.
No, I'm clickbait. I'm not going to say.
You're the guy, Dave. You're the guy who tells everybody to turn the music down. That's who you are right now.
Get off my lawn.
And Brown Car Guy is saying it's fun. It's not harming anybody. These Just Stop Oil people are just spoiling a good time for other people. So just get your own party. That's the thing. They're too lazy to get their own party. So come and join the party or go away.
Go get a life. Go get a life.
But are they allowed to drive down to the party, or do they have to walk?
No, they have to walk. They have to walk. I think they
walk in sandals.
An electric and an EV race. So I don't know if it was Formula E or Extreme E, but they protested at an EV race. I'm like, really? Those are electric cars. I mean, really? What's that?
They didn't tell them that. They just said they were cars. They just there's a car down there. It's going round in circles.
No oil, mate. No oil. Duh.
I'm guessing they're probably not the sharpest tool in that shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the
If
brightest
they're going
crayon.
to super glue themselves to a car, that's not really something that a road scholar is going to be doing.
You say that, but they've created the security of the prime minister, the security of the
That's
airport.
true. But I don't think those people did. Yeah, it's whoever the Illuminati that's backing them or whatever. They're the ones that are figuring that shit out. And
exactly.
Soldiers.
That's it.
They spend their lives living in the dark, of course, because they won't want to spend any money on buying petrol or gasoline for the generator to keep the lights on. So they have a very dark existence.
They should try North Korea. It's dark there at night. There's no lights up there. You can look at the satellite images, and they'd love it there.
Go.
So who benefits if we can't use oil? The EV people.
Nobody benefits, you know.
No. This is a funny conspiracy
someone has
here.
To.
No, but the thing is,
who benefits? This is the guy who's bribing people and getting you through security and getting you into Stonehenge.
No, because even that doesn't make any sense, because
of course it doesn't.
EVs also require oil in some of the parts and bits that they use. But I get that.
No,
700 daily use products, aside from vehicles, 700 daily use products that need oil to be created. Plastics.
Yeah, and most plastics are virgin plastics, despite how much we recycle. What is it? 80% of plastics are still virgin plastic.
But I mean, the original one of the original forms of plastic was hemp, and there's enough of that around. So so they could be making substitute products with hemp.
It's the aliens. Maybe they want a new Stonehenge. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
They're not going to let us get rid of the old one. We really need to maybe come up with a different model or something. Maybe we want to redo it, tweak it a little bit, and they just won't let us. So if we pay someone to dump paint on it, then they're going to have to let us go in there and
When did anybody last talk about Stonehenge so much?
Well,
good point.
I don't think that's
well, Vicky mentioned of course there was a conspiracy that there is actually an alien base underneath Stonehenge. Stonehenge was actually the land pad for the alien ship. That's actually what it was, and they're underneath it, which of course
they've dug down, and what they've found is a chocolate factory producing Henry VIII's chocolate wives.
It's like the Keebler elves live down there with their
the heads are extra. But you're right about the plastic thing. You see these guys, they come and they fly to these conferences. They take a limo. They're sitting there with their plastic drinking bottles telling you how bad oil is. And you go, dude, my Ferrari doesn't use as much oil in 50 years. Relax.
Yep.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Total hypocrisy. Yeah. And they drive to the protests, obviously.
I mean, you
gotta get there somehow.
So just to go back to your question about who benefits, I mean, there is such a thing as green capitalism, right? So there is an economy that's based around the narrative of the environment, and the fact is every time something changes. So say, for example, recently we can no longer have plastic straws. So when you go to McDonald's or fast food or whatever, you can't have plastic straws. You can only have paper straws, right? So who invested in that company that makes paper straws? Do you see what I'm saying? There's always an angle to these things. Always somebody somewhere that's figured out how I'm going to benefit from that, So until we can remove all of the personal interests and the greed and the corruption, we're not really going to have a pure approach to how we want to improve the environment or, the well-being of humans on this planet.
Right. So that's never going to happen.
Right? Exactly. Human nature? No.
Yeah. But it is interesting how this Just Stop Oil has managed to gain so much momentum in recent years, almost at the same time as you mentioned the green capitalism industry. They seem to be, I don't know, there's a parallel there, possibly.
Isn't China's become the world leading producer of solar panels? They're now pivoting to solar energy, and now you can't even get solar panels outside of China for a lot of countries because they're using all of their own resources. So who knows? I mean,
America, they're putting trade sanctions on China. They put 100% on electric cars, but also on solar panels as well, because there's a massive influx of solar panels from China into America. Now, on one side, you think, okay, they're trying to protect the industry and stuff like that. But on the other, the new solar panels are actually more efficient. They're more durable. They last longer. And you think, well, if this is really about saving the planet, surely you should be encouraging using those solar panels rather than saying, no, we don't, even though they're better than ours.
I've got Chinese solar panels on the house here, which is great, which means that I'm not joking, but that also means, of course, because they're collecting all the data as well of what we're doing in house. I'm also part of a very successful Chinese soap opera, it would seem. So people at home, just watching what we're doing here. But what can I say?
I would pay to see that. Actually, I actually do watch a lot of. I watch a lot of.
It's you then. It's you then. You're encouraging it, Vicky. That's what the problem is.
Me. Yep. I consume that entertainment, so sorry. I do actually. I see dramas are really interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of that.
Black Mirror episode where
he's breaking up.
Which one? The Black Mirror episode where they were dramatizing somebody's life in real time, and it turned out that there was a simulation of a simulation of a simulation, and you watch that. This is Black Mirror, and you watch it and you think, well,
I love that show. It's a great show.
Monitoring that's happening, the amount that they can see everybody's lives. If they find somebody that they want to replicate with AI, you can instantly regenerate somebody's life. So they were watching themselves on TV, basically. It's crazy.
How to disrupt a conversation.
Oh, so cute.
Oh,
see,
wow.
Yes.
Well done, Raul.
Oh, wow. You're a genius.
Guys, it's worked. It's worked. I finally got it off.
He's now on a Chinese soap opera.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Paul. Wow, I that was effective.
And on that note,
I was going to say it's no longer Brown Car Guy has left. Brown Car Guy has.
Wow, he really. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
What did you do?
yeah. Really?
What did you do? What did you do?
Well,
did you chase him away? Did you chase him away?
That's what it was. Well, guys, thank you so much. Well, I'm sure he's going to jump back on again, and we'll have left by then. I think it's probably the Stop Oil protesters that finally caught up with him.
Maybe they put on his Wi-Fi.
That's what it is. Thanks so much for being part of the show today. It's one big, shall we say, mishmash of two great shows. Roll, hope to see you
I have a
again
show
next
too.
week.
Big IRL. Nobody watches it, but you can watch it if you want. It's there.
Sorry,
Dave,
three great shows. My
apologies.
apologies.
We'll try the politics thing next time. Because there's a lot going on here. I'm just not sure if anybody's interested, but it's certainly an exciting time.
Okay.
We've had quite a few changes here.
Oh,
if anybody cares. Oh, he's back.
No, not allowed back in the party. Sorry.
No.
Go hang out with your foxes,
I'm doing this on my phone today. I got a phone call and that just basically threw everything out of whack, and that was it. So.
Were they calling you and tell you to knock off talking about them back in the...
No, there you go. You're saying
it was actually the missus.
Did you get the call? Did you get the call? We called you.
If you don't want to be eating brown paint or orange paint or whatever, then you better get up here and
it was just Stop Oil. I'd started the car up earlier, so it was them. How dare you waste that? How dare you start the car and rev it for no apparent reason? You have destroyed the environment and killed little children and rabbits.
God, this got dark really fast. Okay.
Got dark. So on that note, everybody, thank you so much, Rolls, for jumping in and being a great sport today, because we sort of hijacked your show. Giselle, thank you so much for being with us. The Hyperdrive shows that you do with the car reviews, fantastic. Love them. Everybody watches
Thanks,
them.
Vicky, for getting up at 5 a.m. and putting on your hair and makeup so that y'all, I can raise the level of visual on this show. I mean,
I had to put my wig on as
5
well.
a.m. Yeah, exactly. Raul, you and I are trying to make this pretty over here.
It's
getting up early.
Vicky, you are the sunshine in my very dull life.
Mission accomplished.
Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Hopefully, Stephen will be back. Not quite sure whether or not the chip will have clicked in by then. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But tune in again for more madness on the 2F Entertainment channel.